Welcome to Positive Waves. My name is Matthew Collinson, and this is my great friend.
I'm Joseph Soma.
And today we have a beautiful guest back on the show. Man, you've been on my show a few times now, Marc. But Marc Maynard is here. I'm going to have him introduce his topic because this man is going to bring the love to your world, man. He's going to bring the universe to a whole new perspective, and it's going to be a blast of a ride. So join us here. And Marc, go ahead and take off with what you want to talk about, my friend.
Thank you, Matthew and Joe. Love what you guys are doing here. I'm very honored to be here with you and everyone. And what I want to introduce today is something I've been working on a lot lately, and that is finding the location of your greatness. And so many of us have gotten enough of an idea, and what I like to say is a bit of a taste of the McDonald's shake. For any of you that remember when McDonald's would give you just a straw to get that shake up, and Sinbad did a piece where he's like, that vein comes out of your head while you're sucking, and you get a little taste, and you're like, that's good enough, right? Well, that isn't good enough for us, is it? We get a taste. We know there's so much more where that came from. So today we're going to be talking about where the actual location of our greatness is. And this is such an exciting topic to discuss. But what I want to do is start off by giving you just a little bit of background on me for anyone that doesn't know my story. And so we're going to go back to the beginning where I was introduced to all of the curriculum that I would need to get to this point in my life. And that began with having a lot of restriction in my family life growing up. So a lot of us have had that experience. I had a very, unfortunately, undiagnosed mental illness mom, and she expressed a lot of restriction and difficulty on us kids. I have three sisters. One unfortunately passed away due to diabetes. And the four of us, though, had absorbed a lot of that energy and a lot of those experiences that end up creating a paradigm, a programming in us that we're not enough and we just can't do things, or we weren't worthwhile, whatever that may be. Without going into too much detail, there was a lot of physical, mental, emotional abuse. There was even sexual abuse throughout the family, and that's a lot for young minds and hearts to take in. Well, as we tend to do, that programming then creates a behavior pattern that we're familiar with. And I did very much emulate the behavior of someone who had been treated inappropriately and disregarded for most of his life. And when I got into my mid-20s, that led to a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of disconnect. I was very judgmental. I had a thought of, I just knew what's right for everybody. And I felt those narcissistic tendencies growing inside me. And I would tell people what I thought and how I felt, but it was all based on a lack of information. That ended up creating enough disconnect for me in my life. I had a very small circle of friends, and I'm grateful that I had that. Some of who are still with me, despite everything that I was doing at that time. And but the fulcrum point for my change was when the girlfriend I had at the time could not further tolerate my behavior that I had developed, and she left. And that left me to face myself. And if anybody has had that moment where you have to face yourself and you don't handle it well, I attempted to take my own life because I was so discouraged, so depressed at what I saw. It wasn't even because she left. It was because I had to look at me, and I was so disappointed with who I had become. That was an easy solution. Luckily, I was terrible at that. And here I still am, right? And that led me into a world of realizing I could have more. But there were still a lot of lessons to be had. So as I went into a shift in my awareness that I could create better in my life, I went into the corporate game, not realizing that I would still be disconnected from what I would love, what I would actually love to have in my life. So that led me to going down that repetitive day after day after day after day of doing a job, making money, shelling some away. I had the house, I had the vacations, I had a good car, I had a fairly enjoyable experience, but my heart was still calling for more. And sure enough, like Les Brown said, when you don't move on life, life will move on you. And the more I denied the fact that I could be doing other things that my heart was really calling for, things started to change in my life. And the company I had spent 20 years working for just up and sold to another company. And my entire 20 years of experience was wiped off the face of the earth. And again, that created a level of stress and anger and frustration. I got picked up by the company that purchased it, but I had to start over again. And that was very much intolerable to me. And again, life was saying, hey, how would you like to do something else? How would you like something more in your life? And again, I didn't listen. I spent a year in that stress, and I ended up having a heart attack. I blew out the central ventricle wall of my heart. I had to have a patch sewn into the center of my heart to save me. And again, I'm asking, why is this happening to me? Haven't I suffered enough? Haven't I gone through enough? What I hadn't found, though, was I hadn't really found the system of how everything happens. I haven't found the divine matrix in my life yet. I was what my first mentor would call an unconscious competent. The only reason I changed anything was because I felt the spirit come into my heart for a moment, but I didn't learn how to listen to that. And that ended up with more medical issues. Once again, I was so afraid to leave that career, I didn't leave. And a year later, to the day, if this isn't profound enough, the exact date I had the heart issue, I had a stroke. And it was like the universe was saying, how long are we going to do this? How often are we going to do this until you start seeing that there's something speaking to you that you're just not hearing? And this was leading me to the location of my greatness. And I didn't know it at the time. It was all more stress. It was difficulty. It was hospital visit after hospital visit. And haven't I had a rough enough life? And then I started finding my mentors. It started to evolve. I found my first mentor and followed him for the longest time, where I started to be invited into this conversation of how I am responding to the cards that I've been dealt. How am I behaving in this process? And if that resonates with you, I took that leap that Steve Harvey invited me into. Just once in your life, you got to jump. Just once, jump. Take that leap. Go after it. So this led to me going through several mentors and harvesting the good out of every single thing that they shared with me and putting this together into I'm starting to understand now that the things that are presented to me were here for my good, not to push on me or judge me or make life complicated. That what do you think would happen if I avoided the gym? My body's going to get weaker. So why do we avoid the issues? That was a big question. So what I want to do here is first let you know how this turned out as I left the confines of the corporate world, as it were, and I threw caution to the wind and I chose that route. That may not be for everyone, but I chose that route to say, I'm done with this business. I can't participate in this any longer. My heart is telling me, go live your life, go find a new way. And all you have to do is not worry about how. Just love the fact that you want to do it and go in that direction. So I did. I chose that route, and it's not for the faint of heart. What am I going to lean on? Well, I did have some money put away. I did have a house that I owned. So there was some resources there I could rely on. And my information was take advantage of that. Don't be afraid to do that. Take advantage of that. Go see what happens. And what ended up happening was through that process, we decided what's one of the things we would love, my wife and I. Well, she got rid of her job and she said, I would love to get into my craft of, and she loves Renaissance. So she decided to make chainmail jewelry and fantasy art and say, I just want to go to Renaissance fairs and sell this stuff. And that's what we do now. I wanted to work with so many great people. I can do that with the brilliance of technology. So now I have all of my connectivity on the road with me. We got an RV. We sold our house. We're on the road. I'm working with amazing people all the time. And it just fills me full of fulfillment that I have gained an awareness of this gift and talent that I have. And I build on that. And that's what my first mentor said. Build your strengths, manage your weaknesses. You don't want to spend too much time on what you're not good at, because there's this great strength that we can build from the inside out. So the better I got at that, the more it rewarded me. And the better she got at it, the more it rewarded her. And I'm just so happy to announce that I am now living a life that I love. I get to travel around and meet great people. I'm staying at the house of one of the clients I'm working with, and this is just magical. They've been so gracious as hosts, and we've had an amazing time here. I get to wake up and be in a different place as often as I want. I get to work with amazing people and give my gift and be fulfilled with the value of what they receive. And alongside the woman I love, who is living out her dream at the same time. And all it took was the willingness to go in there and see that our gift is really going to pay off for us as we apply it, as we go deeper into how amazing we can be. So with that being said, I would love to kind of pass this back and forth with you guys, Matthew and Joe, and talk a little bit about what this system is, the divine matrix, and how there's an actual physical location of our greatness. So if you guys have any questions for me around that, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I can go in and talk a little bit about the system in general and start to give you guys some tips and ideas about that.
First of all, Mark, I just want to say I love that. Build your strength, manage your weaknesses. That right there is some words of wisdom for everybody to really let sink in. But yeah, definitely. I'm inspired by your story, how far you've come. And I mean, it sounds like you're as thick-headed as I can be. I mean, let's have a heart attack on the job and stay. Let's have a stroke on the job and, not realize it. Like, we all hit those brick walls and it struggles. But like so many, I'm as well trying to find that location of greatness. And I know I'm getting closer and closer because things are getting more amazing. But definitely, please share how do we, I don't want to use the term stumble upon it, but how do we locate? How do we get in touch, get in tune, whatever that may be?
Awesome. That's a fantastic question. And this launches it. I'm going to reference someone that I am so utterly grateful for his professional career in genetics. And that is someone I consider, I don't know if the community considers him this, I consider him the father of epigenetics, and that's the great Bruce Lipton, who has spent years studying our effect of how we operate in this flow of the universe, or what I call the divine matrix. And what he discovered was that cells don't transfer their information physically. They don't regenerate and physically take the information from the previous cell to regenerate itself. And that was something that was very profound that he couldn't wait to share with the world. And that changed my perception of how we operate in the system. What he discovered, and he was very grateful. And I want to thank God for all of the advances we've done with our instrument technology. The great minds on the planet that have advanced our abilities to microscopically go deeper and deeper into the physical world of what's going on. Because of that, he got a chance to really experiment with what are cells doing down there. I love what he says. We're a community. Every one of us is a community of billions of cells either in harmony with each other or they're not. And if they're not, we can generate disease by being out of a unified, harmonious frequency with ourselves. So it's very important, this conversation, start with the understanding of frequency. What vibration are we in? Because that is going to connect us to our greatness. So we're going to start off by this amazing find that Bruce found when he was studying how cells regenerate themselves. And he would say that he would take a blood culture of a single kind, and it could be any blood culture. So it's an environment. And he could take any cell, bone cell, liver cell, brain cell, you name it, any cell out of the body and drop it in that blood culture. And what it would do was instantaneously, it would regenerate as the blood culture. All prior information gone. Now, wait a minute now. Hold on. That's a huge piece of the puzzle here, isn't it? Why is that happening? Because in that case, our genetic past would have no effect on us. And diabetes wouldn't travel through the family line, and all these things wouldn't be if we could just get into a new environment. Is that what he's saying? Well, he had to go a little bit deeper to figure out where's our genetic information coming from. So with those instruments, he found that all of our cells have antennae on them, protein antennae. And he said from that moment, that was his spiritual awakening. And I just launched right in with that. I said, thank you, Bruce. How grateful I am that you found that. Because what does that tell us? That the cell, when the antennae were stimulated, is the knowledge that there's a broadcast coming in. There's an electrical signal that the cell is picking up. So we can kind of, and you know, there's more research to come. So we're always going to find more and more. But for now, we can just assume that that's coming from out there somewhere. Out there somewhere, this broadcast is coming in and the cells are picking up the signal. So as he phrased it, this was such an amazing thing for me as a scientist. I'm not in here. I'm out there being broadcast in here. So that created another piece of my puzzle in the system of how the divine matrix works, where I see all of us as fiber optic cables. And as we know, those fiber optic cables are different colors, right? So we have specific things that are us. Every single one of us has greatness in us. As the great Les Brown always said, now, how do I find mine? And we're going to keep going in this conversation to understand this. So as the fiber optic cable is me, I am now a piece of this great overall divine matrix being expressed in human form. And that's why I'm a brilliant spiritual being having a human experience. So all of my cells are picking up this broadcast. And we're going to start there. What I want the whole audience and you guys to picture in your mind is that here's this amazing, perfect divine matrix operating the way it does. And our entire experience in that fiber optic cable that is coming to me is choice. But I'm not aware it's choice because I'm programmed. And a lot of us here, especially you're amazing following all of these individuals, know quite a lot about personal development and self-mastery. They've gone in there, they've done mindset training. So there's an awareness here of there's more to me than I know right now. And that's what I want to inspire you to know, that even in a physical sense, this science is starting to uncover. You couldn't be more right. There is so much more to you than you've seen up until now. So we're going to keep going to get people to the physical location of their greatness, that as this broadcast comes in, my perception up until now is based on the program of what I believe to be true. And as I was growing up, I believed I wasn't worth anything. I took those hurtful words that my mother said to me and I transitioned them into, you've got to be right because you wouldn't be saying it. You're the person I should trust more than anybody. So that's got to be true. And now my RAS, or reticular activating system, is going to search for the fact that that's true. And this is something we have as a faculty. So this is one of the biggest pieces I want to give everybody. When we believe something to be true, if I believe I'm not enough, my intellect is so capable, it's now going to listen to my heart. It gets hijacked by what I believe, and it goes to work looking for that fact. And now I'm searching for why I'm not enough. And I don't even know I'm doing it because my system operates so brilliantly without my knowing that if I'm not aware of this, I can't interrupt it. Why would you ever escape a prison you don't know you're in? Right? You wouldn't even try. You would just be like, yeah, you're right, I'm not enough. How did I ever get to the point where I would want to end my life? I am so full of love in life now. I couldn't even imagine doing that. So what made the difference was my lack of understanding and perception. My body was programmed with, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I have no talents and abilities, I have no value to bring to the world. Well, I can choose that, but if I don't know my heart's automatically in that space, I don't realize I'm automatically choosing it. I just go with it. Now, if anyone out there feels like, yeah, there are times I just don't feel good about me. I just feel down. I feel discouraged. I've done a lot of work. Maybe I didn't get the results. Maybe it's not for me. Well, I got good news for you. This system is so perfect. Every single one of us can make these changes just with awareness training, just with understanding that what we feel right now is not a truth. And that's the biggest point I want to make in this system of how it operates. If we feel something, it's not a truth. It's a current information choice. And that information is coming from somewhere. It's coming from maybe an experience, something a loved one told you, something an experience might have suggested. Geez, I tried to play the sport. I don't seem to be good at it. Up until now, right? I haven't seen the rest of me. But our feelings tend to take what we've experienced and make it law. And that's what I want to give everyone to understand at any given point in time. I'm going to give you a 3-step process right now that you can interrupt the feeling that I can't do it, I'm not enough, this isn't going to happen for me. All things in the law of polarity are available to us. All possibilities can be presented. How do we experience that? Number one, if you ever feel like you're in that space, I feel like I'm not getting the results. I feel like I've done a lot of work. I feel like I can't have this. Breathing, as simple as that sounds, and we're gonna do this right now, if everybody's willing to join me in this, to do a simple breathing technique that's going to create a shift in your subconscious. Okay, so if everyone wants to just get comfortable in a nice, comfortable seated position, we're going to do step 1 that helps us interrupt the choice that we feel we're not choosing. All right, so what we're going to do is take a deep inhale through the nose, as much as we can pull in. We want to do about a 5-second count. Inhale, and then purse your lips like you're breathing through a straw, and exhale slowly. Another 5-second count, if you can do that. And we're going to go through a few of these. And while you exhale, feel your muscles relaxing with that slow exhale. Okay. Now, if you've done this, did you feel the body just relax as you're exhaling? You feel some tension release. You feel yourself settle into what is called the still small voice. That's what the Dalai Lama calls it. What we're doing is getting into our parasympathetic nervous system. And for those of you that have heard that, the subconscious operates virtually entirely without our conscious knowing. It just operates programmed. So what we're doing to get from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic, we don't want to be in that fight or flight energy. And I'm sure everyone's heard a lot of talk around that. That primal state, as my coach calls it, the primal state is the reptilian complex, they call it. That fight, flight, or freeze place is only meant for immediate response. But we tend to get programmed to use it all day, every day, as though it's necessary, and it's not. So the first step to making a shift into the location of your greatness is to understand the restriction that's automatic in our programming and decide that I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to stay in this place of tension. And it's a feeling. So all you have to do is feel how that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to feel unworthy. It doesn't feel good to be tense. It doesn't feel good to not have control of myself. Geez, I don't know what's coming tomorrow, so I'm a little worried about that. I'm a little tense. This practice can help us relax that automatic process, and it's called hitting pause. That's what I love to give this as. It's hitting pause on my automatic response system. So that's step one. And now what we're going to do is something called reconnect. Step two is reconnecting to my broadcast. So let me tell you a little bit, if I can, about what is inside the broadcast that is you. I love the laws of the universe, and that's part of the process I offer, is studying the laws that precipitate here no matter what we've done all the way up until now in the universe. One thing we can be sure of that has happened up until now is that the laws remain constant. They are always working. They're always available. And with that comes a level of confidence we can give ourselves over to. Here is the law always working. I'm pretty certain it's going to keep working. It's got to at least stop at one point in time for someone to go, aha, it's not 100%. And maybe that'll happen someday. But I'm confident that it's happened for how many thousands of years that these laws just keep happening. So because we have confidence in that, well, now let's take a look at the law of polarity for a second. And the law of polarity states that all things have their opposite. Everything has their opposite. So if we can be in fear, we can be in confidence and expansion in the opposite energy of that. If we can be in hate, we can be in love. And the law states that these energies aren't just opposites. They are the exact same energy that are quantum entangled to each other. So what I gained an ability at, and didn't even notice I was doing it at first, through the study of these laws, was that I started to become pretty competent at when I was in places I didn't want to be, I could flop instantly into the other energy. And I'd go from, man, I didn't like that, to what would I love? I would love this. And all of a sudden my heart just made this shift. So we're going to take advantage of that and use that as step two, reconnecting to our higher selves. If I can be not enough, I can be more than enough. If I can be in limit and lack, let's say I work with clients and up until now I haven't had the amount of clients I want. Well, if I can experience not having them, then I can experience having all of them. So, well, what's the difference here? And it's a domino effect. This is the law of cause and effect. By using the law of cause and effect, we can then look at the law of polarity, use them together, and realize that if I'm quantum entangled to this, I can have all the clients I ever wanted. So what would it take to have that, to physically experience that? It could take the simple thing of reconnecting to what it feels like to have that. So what we're going to do in step two is take a second. Now that we've relaxed into the parasympathetic, we're in a place of the still small voice, which is a higher part of ourselves. And now we can reconnect to that, to the frequency of what it feels like to have what we would love. And this is a really, really fun exercise to put on. The more you practice this, the better you get at harnessing the vibration of being where you'd love to be. So what we unconsciously do is we say, I would love to have this. And what's the next word? But. That's the next word that our paradigm wants to throw out there. Now, some of us have already gotten a hold of that. Others, we may want to practice this, right? We might want to practice recognizing. And let's not give awareness. Let's not dial that down at all. Let's realize how powerful it is. If you notice that you're doing an activity you're dissatisfied with, even if you don't change that right away, It's so powerful just to see yourself doing it and to reward yourself for that, to say, wow, I do that, don't I? Just seeing it. Man, she said that and I just attacked her. Why do I do that? Like, I don't want to do that. That didn't feel good. So just being aware that you do something you want to change is the first step. So celebrate yourself for even noticing that. And now we're in this polarity and cause and effect. What can I do to have all these clients? Let's say I want 10 clients this week. What can I do to put that energy in play? Sit quietly with yourself, having relaxed. And in step 2, imagine, what would it feel like to work with 10 clients at the same time? And be detailed with it. Because your imagination of what that is like is not a child's game. The imagination is a higher faculty that we've been given. This is a power that we can access. And what I want to express to everyone is the imagination is how our heart can touch a reality we're going to experience before we physically step into that space. And in heart math, science has discovered the heart can predict the next few seconds of what you're going to come into. And they've proven this with thousands of peer-reviewed studies, that they wire you up and they can tell the heart reacts before you come into an emotional situation. So how powerful is that to know? Sitting with yourself and imagining what this feels like to have the good I would love is so powerful. Another mentor of mine says that'll pull you into the reality of experiencing it. And all of a sudden you have the thing you were imagining and you go, oh, really? That's how this works? It can be that simple. Obviously, there are bigger and deeper systems to this, but that is a nice basic way for you to reconnect to the higher level of your broadcast. Now, I want to be a little bit clear about this, that the lower level of our broadcast is what we seem to always be introduced to first. Here's all of the restriction. Here's the challenge. I'm born to the world, and even if I'm born to an amazing family, I got to learn how to eat. I got to learn how to walk. I got to learn all this stuff. All of a sudden, I'm thrust into time to learn, bucko. Strap in. We got a lot that's going to happen. So because of that, if we're not careful, our heart's going to say, geez, all this is work. Like, I didn't come to this experience to work. But that's exactly what we're here for, is to learn, not to work. And if we make the shift in our heart that this is fun, exciting, thrilling, every day is a new experience. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Man, am I blessed and highly favored. I get to come in here and experience this level of me. So what we're searching for is the very thing our heart is trying to tell us we can't have. And that's because the bottom part of the polarity is the information that was suggested that our heart made an automatic choice maker for us. So now we walk into these situations and we think, okay, I gave that a try and it didn't go so well. Does that mean I suck at it? Does that mean I can't have it? Does that mean it's not for me? No, that may mean that I need to make some changes so that I can discover I'm better at it. But that doesn't mean I can't get better at it. And I'll always come back to the 3 words, am I willing? So put this step on, reconnect. What does that mean to reconnect? Well, when we're in the lower vibrations, below neutrality, all the anger, frustration, disappointment, discouragement, even depression, when we're down in that lower vibration, we are literally cutting down. And if you actually look these up, you'll find those emotions have a frequency labeled to them. And I think neutrality is roughly around 200 hertz. And all of those feelings are down around 30, 40 hertz. We're lowering our vibration due to our belief that we have to feel this way below neutrality. What I have as a structure, and it's an entry-level structure called Discovering Your Higher Self, is a process that helps people connect to the higher level of themselves. Let's evolve up into that. Let's actually tie into, where are my gifts and talents? What has happened thus far that's holding me down or holding me back? What parts of me do I not even know are there, right? So there's this higher level to us. That's when we're in joy, love, acceptance, expansion, enlightenment, and transcendence are up in the higher levels of those frequencies. And the Buddhists, they put themselves to the hazard of achieving that day after day after day. They go into this vibration of, I will be up there in the higher level of me. And all of us can do this. And there are many modalities and ways to do it. So when you're sitting and imagining what you would love, remember this very simple point. When the paradigm wants to say, yeah, you love that, but, and here comes the but again, right? It'll want to pull your heart out of that space. Just be aware. No but. Let's just imagine there's nothing holding me down. Let's imagine there's no money problems, no time problems, no issues that I have said are here up until now. Let's just wipe that off the table. Just give yourself 5 minutes for the fun of it, if no other reason, to just love it as much as you could love it. And here's what you'll probably discover, I think, is that as you love it, your mind's going to pick up details you'd never really thought of before. You're going to be sitting there imagining those 10 clients and what does it feel like to work with them? And all of a sudden, one of their wins is going to pop up and you go, oh, wow, that was cool. And then the next thing will come up. And the deeper you put the love into what you would love, the more you expand that, the more details will come out. And that is the matrix speaking to you. So, and that's, we're going to go to step 3 here, but I really want to cover this point of what you're asking, Joe, and that is, I'd love to know where my greatness is. Where is my greatness? Your greatness is in the broadcast that is you. Broadcast to you 100% of your life. It's being broadcast to you. But like radio stations, and we all kind of know this one, you have to be on the number of what you're receiving or you don't receive it. So imagine, if you will, and this is one of the lessons I teach, I'll offer it to you here. It's called the law of repulsion. Everyone wants to talk about the law of attraction. And I help people understand that when we're in the lower vibration, we are enacting the law of repulsion, which is the polarity of the law of attraction. We're literally pushing away our greatness. We're saying, no, thank you. No, thank you. I don't want to be this awesome. I don't want to be that great. I want to mull over the fact that it's just not happening by itself. And I'll tell you that it took me a while to get to that place where I'm like, wow, Mark, you've been doing that, haven't you? You've been saying, I can't have, I'm not good enough, I can't do this. And like Henry Ford said, you're right. If you want to feel that way, you're absolutely right. But I invite you into saying, no, I'm done with this conversation. In the law of polarity, all things are possible. I am that great. I am that great. Now, how do I find it? Being in that love of yourself. I love me. Let's love myself like I wanted everyone else to. I'm always searching for love out here. What if I just love in here? And that's step 3. Love yourself. Love the possibilities for you. And the more you increase your self-love, you raise your vibration into the higher frequency, and you are going to step into the location of your greatness. The broadcast will get through the barrier. It will come to you. And as you love, your mind will go, I could do this. I could do, oh my God, I never even thought of that before. I could do this. I am going to do that. Right? I am going to go do that. Then what happens? We discover more of ourselves. And I'll save you the mystery. If it doesn't all work out the way you'd love it to, that doesn't mean anything. That means you took a step on the staircase. Now, who out there wants to go up a set of stairs, takes 2 steps and stops? Anyone? Anyone take 2 steps and give up? Oh, no. Why would I do that? I want to be upstairs. I'm just going to keep taking steps. So I encourage you to consider this. When you try the first time, like Steve Harvey was saying, and you hit those rocks because you jumped, that's just the lesson. That's all it is. That's just the route to get through what's holding you back, right? So maybe I have to fall so that I can become. And I just read an amazing quote by Peter Sage this morning that said, when I go after a result and I don't get it, I'm not going after it to get the result. And I want to let that breathe for a second. I'm going after it so that I can find out who I need to become to have the result. And that's in harmony with this process. When I'm willing to learn the lesson, and that's my 3 magic words for all of you, am I willing to do what it takes to discover that level of greatness in me? Maybe I need to read some more books. Maybe I need to hire a mentor. Maybe I need this program. Maybe I just need to sit more with myself and love me more. Maybe I haven't done it enough. Maybe the programming inside is saying, yeah, that felt good. Now what? Okay, well, maybe I need to do it again, right? Maybe I just need to repeatedly increase this vibration, and that's going to create a new program. And my automatic process becomes my best friend. So what's inside of that higher level broadcast is a friend in you that you may never have seen before. You are not what you've been up until now. You are part of that. And that will always be possible for you. But if you don't want that anymore, you don't have to anymore. You can say, no, I'm going here. That's it. I'm going here. And this is my new me that I'm going to pay attention to every day. Every day. I am capable. I am infinite. I am blessed and highly favored. I am full of talent and ability. Let's see what else I can learn. Let's see what else I can do, because I can do it. And what happened to me by applying these principles and really getting into the deeper understanding of the system that's so brilliant, it gives us gold every day. Right? And Matthew and Joe, you guys are part of this process. You're offering that gold. You keep showing people that gold. And that's why I love what you guys are doing, because there it is. You're like, come on in. It's the invitation, right? Come on in to your greatness. It's right here waiting for you. And the universe has been trying to give it to you since the moment you were born. It's been saying, please take this, please take this. And unfortunately, our experience has created a vibrational barrier, and we're blocking it. But once you get in that self-love and you take these 3 steps and just practice with them, you're going to start to feel the location of your greatness is in the harmonious vibration of loving yourself. And all of your gifts and talents are going to come into being. And you're going to go, wow, I never knew I could do that. I never knew I could buy an RV and travel the country, watch my wife's business soar, watch my business soar, meet with amazing people like you guys, all the listening audience, come here. And your time is so valuable. I'm grateful you took it to be part of this, whether you're listening to the recording or you're here now. Either way, you took the time and effort to be here. And I'm grateful and privileged that you did that. Your heart is seeking that level of greatness, and it's right there waiting for you. All it takes is a shift from inside. We're not waiting for anything out there. It's all in here. We just need to pick ourselves up to that vibration and go, give it to me. Let's go. Let's go do this. So that's my 3 steps and 3 tips for this simple process to get you guys going. And I hope that answers your question, Joe.
Mark, that was beautiful, brother. I love you, man. Seriously, that was great. I mean, it's literally where I am now. And it's like I've been saying, this year is, I've been feeling this since November. This year is a year of blessings and abundance. And I mean, you literally just paved the map for how people can get there. And it literally does start with finding that love for yourself, that unconditional love. When you can, like you said earlier, build your strengths and manage your weaknesses. If you can recognize your weaknesses and say, okay, let's not focus on that, and let's focus on what I do great. I mean, essentially, you are finding that love for yourself, because you're no longer living in that miserable mindset of, oh, I don't do this well, or I suck at that, or the whole team hates me because I can't kick the ball far enough, or whatever it may be. Like, you literally just told them, like, the passive breath, I'm with the breathwork atrium, and that's what we call that style of breathing, is the passive breathing. And nice. That is, there's the science behind it to back it up, that does calm the nervous system. I forget which part of the brain that it settles as well. It works great for anxiety and other things as well. But it's that reset to slow you down, to get you out of that mental mind, to stop essentially that programming that you're living in. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head with all 3 steps. And, it's right where I am in my world as well, creating that future, getting out of those low vibrations step by step, one step at a time. And sometimes it takes a little bit to reach that next step. But like you said, don't give up on yourself. You are worth it. Everything you need is all there around you. You just have to flip that duality perception. You can live in the shit space, or you can live in, the heaven-like space. What do you want to choose?
Right.
When we first started talking, what came to my mind was when I started doing these video calls, these live sessions, now these podcasts here, I was nervous as can be, literally. And somebody told me simple little sentence: nervousness and excitement is the same frequency. You choose which one you want to be. And I was like, damn. All right, so let's see. And I've told this a few times now, but I literally went in the bathroom. I essentially yelled at myself, like, you are excited. This is freaking amazing. Go out there and do this. You can run this class. You can host this call. You got this. And, here I am like a year later. I'm confident as can be on a call. I mean, yeah, some days I have that nervousness, but like you said, when you see it, you recognize it, flip it. I'm not nervous. I'm excited. Let's go do this. So I love it. Thank you, man.
Fantastic. Thank you, Joe.
Dang. I was just totally reliving. This is, as you were walking through this, Mark, it's kind of how I found my creative genius within it. It's kind of like my friend inside me. Like, I meet him every time I go into my flow zone, essentially, when I'm creating. But I didn't meet that guy until like just a little while back. Like, it was been the last 3 years essentially that I met this guy, that I started video editing and that kind of thing. And now I sell my services. Now it's turned into a whole evolution of all kinds of things. So it's just a matter of like, it's exactly that though. It was those exact 3 steps though. Like, I was totally just reliving that, finding that person within and being like, who else do I want to meet today?
Nice.
This was amazing. I can't believe that you have now found the entire formula for finding greatness within people. I think that is going to be such a positive wave to the world that you're going to change so many thousands of lives, man. I'm really proud of you, dude. Very nice.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. And I resonate with your vibration. You're in that same space of violent expansion. I can feel that on you. You're growing so fast every day, and it looks amazing on you. And I'm very grateful. Thank you for having me on here. What I would like to do is, for anyone that's saying, okay, this is a great 3-step system. However, I feel like I have deeper things going on, right? For that, if it's okay with you guys, I do have a link I can put in the chat if that works for you. And what I would like to leave everyone with is this system, and this link that I'm putting in the chat right now is to schedule an absolutely free 90-minute strategy session with me. And when I call it a strategy session, the idea behind it is that, like you do, Matthew, with your energy, and I'm sure you do as well, Joe, because I can feel you're in that same space of growth. I'm going to get in the vibration of who this individual is. This is about you, right? And I can't understate that. I can't allow myself to understate it. This is all about you. What's your energy saying? What are you searching for? I am connected to a lot of amazing people. So this in no way is about me. This is about finding you what you need. What is it your energy is looking for? What is it that may help you move forward? I have NLP experts. I have hypnosis specialty. I'm staying at an astrologer's house right now, and she is the best I've ever seen with astrology. So whatever someone's looking for, I want to be the hub. That's what I want to be. I just want to help people grow. What I've experienced is so amazing that if something I have is meant for you, fantastic, let's get busy. If it's not, let's find who's meant for you, right? Let's get everybody that's desiring to see this level of greatness in themselves. Just feel this, because, oh my God, I can't be any more passionate about helping people get to this level of growth. And what we're going to do is discover what's right for you. But I will tell you what I do have that's something to look at, and that's that discovering your higher self structure. This is based off a Tom Bilyeu concept, and I have put all of my mentors sharing greatness with me into this structure of terrifying self-discovery. That's what Tom said is the only way to true and lasting success. Terrifying self-discovery. So if you're excited, like Joe's shifted to, I'm not nervous anymore. I'm excited, and that's great. If you're excited and you would like to take a look at you, I'm ready to look at me. And we're going to go through 12 weeks of terrifying self-discovery. And on that strategy session, I can share with you the details. And if that resonates with you, great. If not, let's find you what does. That's how this works. So please don't hesitate. Set up a call. Let's get to know each other. I'd love to get to know what you would love and get you going towards that great vision that's in your heart.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any last words from you, Joe?
No, I just want to say appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much for being here and sharing. And these tools are going to be amazing for some. And just knowing your personality and knowing your, some of your story, I know that anybody that comes to you is going to just love working with you and growing with you, because you've got that kind heart to help people get out of that shit situation that they're in and literally rise above it. And that's what we're all here doing, is helping people rise up out of that space that they don't want to be in no more.
Brilliant. One last final thought that I want to give everybody. And this is something I experienced recently that just felt so empowering. If there's anyone you admire and is doing what you would love to do, and you feel that you're so inspired by what they do, but there's a feeling that you're looking up at them. What my mentors helped me get to was building myself so much that I look across to these great mentors now and say, I still respect and love what you do. Let me show you what I'm doing. And I invite everyone into that space. How would that feel to be on the level with the people that you respect and admire and know that you're just as great as they are? That is the best feeling in the world.
I love that. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you, all you subscribers, all you people watching, and we are so excited that we had Marc on today to share 3 steps to creating greatness within you, or finding your greatness. 3 steps to finding your greatness. Yes. Want to get it. Hit that subscribe button, share this with anyone else that you would like to help them find their greatness within them. And have a great day, everybody.